Hi all. Let me start today's session by taking names of few platforms like Upwork, Fiverr, Freelancer.com. These platforms have one thing in common. They have used technology to introduce new methods of workplace collaborations and have contributed to what we know and as white collar gig work. And in this session, let's explore the rise of new gig work in the AI analytics space with no one but Mahadevan Iyerr, who himself has built one such platform which is supporting gig work in AI analytics industry. Let me briefly introduce myself and then we start the conversation. I am Shuchi Rakheja. I am founder of Shift 180 Business Advisory and Services. Shift 180 is also building a platform called Advisator, which will collaborate experts from various domains like business legal, business finance, and these experts will be available for advice to entrepreneurial ecosystem and aspiring entrepreneurs as and when they need it. Along with me, I have Mahadevan Iyer. I will let him introduce himself and then we begin our conversation.
Thank you, Shuchi. Very excited about sharing my insights along with you on 3AI Spectra. My company, Maavrus, is a managed marketplace for analytic services. Our platform essentially connects businesses with bespoke teams of freelance domain experts and data analysts who are appropriate to the business context, the data reasoning and modeling skills required, and the technology capability required to solve specific business problems. From a client or a business perspective, what it means is they have on-demand access to analytic services, which are cost-effective, quick turnaround, and practical. Right? I look forward to the conversation with you.
Great, Mahadevan. So, Mahadevan, since you are building this platform for gig work in AI analytics specifically, I'm sure you must be dealing with white collar freelance experts. What are your thoughts on the current landscape of gig work in the AI analytics industry?
So, Shuchi, I for one am very optimistic and highly bullish about the growth and penetration of gig work in the AI and analytics space. Right? I think a few days back I was reading an article in Business Today, and they had quoted a research by Founded, which is erstwhile Monster, uh, where they had mentioned that in March 2024, the white collar hiring had come down by 4% vis-a-vis March 23, whereas there had been a 184% increase in white collar gig jobs, right? Uh, Another interesting point that had come out in that research was that in March 2023, technology gig jobs contributed to almost 22% of the overall number of gig jobs, whereas in 2024 March it had increased to almost 46%. Now, AI in analytics forms a key part and a growing part of the technology area, and as such, it validates my thought that this particular adoption of gig work in AI analytics is only set to grow exponentially.
Right. I mean, that's pretty much pointing out to something very positive and optimistic trend. And that comes no surprise to me, Mahadevan. Because if we see right from COVID time, there has been a shift towards contractual work. There has been a comfort of working from home. There has been comfort of working along with family. And in India, at times, one is able to surpass traffic, contributing to work productivity. These are some of the forces that is driving this change, I believe. What is your opinion about it? What factors do you see that is resulting in a positive trend?
I totally agree with you, Shuchi. I think the proliferation of collaboration platforms like Zoom and Microsoft Teams, also the fact that with COVID pandemic happening, people had a chance to reflect upon their life choices and start deciding more towards work-life balances and flexi work, has been clearly a reason for more adoption by full-time professionals into the gig space. But specifically coming into AI and analytics, for a analytics professional, they by desire, would like to have more and more projects across multiple domains, multiple functions, and try and solve different challenges. The reason for that is when they try and solve challenges across domains and functions, it helps them become a well rounded analytics professional who has got a larger view of the business, and it enhances both their employability as well as their ability to ability to earn more money. And so that's essentially the reason from the supply side. From the demand side, with the level of data explosion that is happening, organizations now have more access to both internal as well as external data. And given the level of competition that is happening, the type of market conditions that exist, and the reducing shelf life of many organizations, there is a need to respond quickly to changing business situations. Right? So while most
Right.
organizations do have people internally, they do look for flex and surge capacity to be able to respond to a current changing situation, and that is where there is also a lot of adoption of gig work. I read somewhere that last year almost 67% of Indian organizations use white collar gig in some way or the other, and I will just uh, I would like to believe that a significant portion of that is related to quick turnaround, actionable insights.
That sounds interesting. And so we have been mostly talking about the driving forces behind or that is boosting gig work. Now, gig work in other industries, if I talk specifically of digital marketing or graphic designing or other kind of tech work, which is creative in nature, it does not involve much of data element. But AI analytics, the main ingredient is data itself. So I'm sure there are some challenges of data security. Why don't you throw some light as to how uh, you will encounter these challenges, and what do you think about the role of technology, generative AI, in mitigating these challenges?
A great question, Shuchi, and I think technology is going to play a huge role in ensuring there is a continued and increasing adoption of gig in the AI and analytics space. So let's look at a life cycle of a project. Let's take the first one. When a client lists a project or a problem is to be solved, the first thing that one does is in terms of validating the context, understanding the hypothesis, the constraints, and almost validating the final storyboard one needs to present, right? We do it in everyday life as an analytics professional. And with technologies like generative AI, access to synthetic and secondary data, so some of this can be done very easily without immediately accessing the client data and be able to do a storyboard validation, right? The second part of it is in terms of once you have clarity on what needs to be delivered, there are AI algorithms that can actually help ensure that the best blend of skills and capability is brought as a single bespoke team to solve for that particular problem in the best possible manner, right? So that's another role for technology, right? And this is where multiple technology areas are going to come in play to ensure that AI and analytics can be delivered well by gig teams. Thank you, Shuchi. It was wonderful interacting with you, uh, and look forward to many more such conversations. Thank you.
Sure, same here.